another episode of Literary Gladiators, the show where we discuss and debate literature in all of its forms. If it's written work, it's game. Let's meet the panel.
I'm Larry.
Hi, I'm Jesi. I'm Tori.
And I'm Josh. And today we are going to be going over an African poem by Kofi Awoonor. And the poem is called At the Gates. And I came across Kofi Awoonor in this vintage book of contemporary world poetry. But they also brought him up in the New Generation African Poets series, that Acaistic books, the ones that do the Noir series, Brooklyn Noir. That's where Only the Dead Know Brooklyn was collected. But they release several chapbooks of poems written by African-born, African resident or first-generation American citizens with African descendants, and it was dedicated to Awoonor because Awoonor, he was a very well renowned, an acclaimed Ghanaian poet, but he was unfortunately killed in an attack at the Westgate shopping mall in Kenya back in 2013.
The Westgate shopping mall.
Mm-hmm. He was
that's
kind of ironic.
giving some kind of presentation at the time. But my discussion starter is, do you feel that you learned something about African culture as you read this poem?
something about African culture. It delves into the question of, which it starts it, which God sent me, or sent, to that effect. It's like, which God sent me to this gate, or something to that effect. And it talks about,
I do not know which God sent me to fall in the river and fall in the fire, but these have failed me.
Yeah, so, I mean, a little bit you can delve into that kind of look of religion. Yeah. Religion,
because he
and
also refers to God, capital, and then God as in the, lower, singular, lower, these.
There's a crisis of faith in this.
Yes.
That I don't know if it's cultural, but more personal.
Yeah, African countries, they have so many different cultures, and they're always in and out of wars, and there's a great deal of fatalities, but that's not only from war, but also from conditions.
When was this written? I'm sorry.
This particular poem, it doesn't give a year, but I'm thinking it was mid-20th century.
I was just going to say, I think it's relatively contemporary compared to some other stuff that we've gone over, but it's not like within the past few decades.
Yeah, I was thinking, I wonder if it's like post World War II, right? When the map of Africa was kind of recarved up into what it is today, right?
Well,
because that might apply to some of the confusion.
I'm assuming that he being from Ghana was more Northern African, because Northern Africa it has a greater influence from the Middle East and other countries. I know that that was the particular land that Mussolini was aiming to conquer during the Second World War, whereas Hitler wanted Europe and surrounding areas. In particular, because I'm thinking that Hitler, if he had the chance at world domination, he would have gone for it. He was that crazy. But
hang on.
Larry?
Well, I was just saying, that it's like the character in this play kind of comes across as being confused, right? Not knowing, what gate he belongs to, or what he's fighting for, or what God he's serving. And I wonder if that might be related to the post-World War redrawing of maps that might have
put a historical spin on it. I was just thinking of like pearly gates, like heaven, like their form of like the afterlife, when they arrive at the afterlife and are angry because they're saying like, which God, in what name of what higher power sent me to die, and why did I die?
So was there anything you wanted to say, Jesi?
No, I'm very confused by the whole poem. 100%.
I was personally, I felt that it was a bit more of a challenging one, but I think that I had a general idea of where he was getting at. It had to do with a confliction within
It was internal.
being at the gates as far as.
What I mean, I was
God
reading
is
through it, and
concerned.
I read through it a couple times. I mean, what really, I can't even tell you what exactly confused me. I mean, I'm getting down here, and it's like a snake has bitten my daughter, and whom will I trust? I'm like,
Yeah,
wait
it
a
kinda
minute, I
takes
thought
this
you were
really
in
fun
heaven.
turn.
Hold up.
Mhm. And it does make
I'm confused.
it does clarify its references though, as far as Actable Horseau and
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, I
Bachelor
tried looking
jokes?
for that,
Me
and
too.
it literally brought me to this poem when I went looking for that. I was like,
It
what does
was
that mean?
a
What is
famous
that?
Anglo warrior whose fame was widespread, and his name still is sung in songs.
Ah, okay, so it's kind of like a Herculean entity.
Kind of, yeah.
Got it, got it, got
And
it.
then
Sung
there's-
in songs, so that, maybe that's what when he's talking about the singer a little later on.
Yeah.
Mentions his singer.
So
yeah,
there's
I
a lot
bear
of
the magic
cultural,
of the singer that has come. Yeah.
because
I don't know either.
I know that sometimes like having a name or like evoking something or doing something by like wearing a certain garb, especially like in African culture, you take on their certain powers and stuff like that. So like that could be like the representation of that. I understand that vaguely, but I think the poem near the end kind of goes a little bit off the tracks by referencing, I think, literal gates to a village by going there and saying, my daughter died, and yet there's all these people who are dying for like a cause. What, like, senseless death? Who are we dying for in these senseless deaths? So that's kind of what I was getting at the end of that.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I've read a good number of poems, and usually, like, if I don't get it the first time, I'll reread it until I get at least something. This one, I don't know. I read it a couple times, and I'm just like, I got nothing.
Yeah, I would,
Like,
I would
I
say
have
it's
no idea
more.
what I'm
I think
reading.
it's something that needs to be read a little bit more. I have a general idea though that it has to do with the confliction of being at the gates.
And I wonder if the reason why it's so nebulous and like not really specific to us is because, again, kind of like what we were talking about with the translation aspect. You were talking about a few days ago about the poem with islands.
Oh yes, when
You
we
know-
saw the islands again.
Exactly. So maybe there's some sort of like translation from its original language into English that you lose some of the like meaningful.
I need to do some more reading of Kofi Awoonor myself.
Yeah.
I think that'd be more.
There's
intriguing,
a
yeah.
passion to it and there's an anguish,
Mhm.
but I wish I understood more where it was coming from
Yeah,
because it was
I
kind
would.
of like
I
a
think
little all over the
more
place.
background would have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but part of that too, I think, might be the point. Like, I think this is somebody that is confused, writing about being confused.
So where
Thus,
is the
I'm confused. I feel like that makes
Okay,
sense.
okay,
Yes.
Yeah,
understood.
I
Like, where is the blame or where is the source of this anguish? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's another interesting point. Yeah. That's good.
Alrighty then. Do we have any final thoughts?
It's a poem that I think needs more observance
Yeah, I would
at
say
this
that
point in time.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that it does, and I'm looking to get more into African poetry as well. But if you're interested in checking this out and contemporary poetry from around the world, here is a copy of a book where you can obtain that. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in for our spring break week of Literary Gladiators. Be sure to join us next week when we will be paying a visit to our very own Professor Rennie Hartman. And we'll be filming at her house for a few weeks. And I want to thank my grandparents, my Thompson grandparents, for allowing us to film here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing the crazy to happen.
Yay, crazy!
Cool. Be sure to join us next time on another episode of Literary Gladiators. For now, keep reading.